Hello friends, this is Rishika and you're watching Exclamation of Life. Today I'll be discussing about a topic which is a new concept, although it's not very new but it's relatively new, and this topic was first addressed by Daniel Goleman in his book, and the name of the topic is emotional quotient or EQ. So we all have some idea about EQ versus IQ and all those sort of topic. So I'll be discussing about EQ especially in today's video of mine. So what Daniel Goleman mentioned is that a person to be successful in his career or in his academics or in his relationship with his family members or friends or surrounding, whatever it is, to be successful, a person have to have a very good EQ. And EQ is more important than IQ whenever it comes to success of a person. Like for a successful life, it is only 20% that depends on IQ and other 80% it depends on the person's EQ. So this is what Daniel Goleman mentioned in his book. Now, whenever we say EQ versus IQ, this versus term give us a negative impression that might be both of them are inversely proportional to each other. But that is not the case. EQ and IQ do not have any correlation between themselves and they are totally individual, because a person might be having good EQ and good IQ at the same time, he or she might be having bad EQ and bad IQ at the same time, or they might be having good EQ, bad IQ and good IQ, bad EQ. Anything can be possible, it depends on an individual fully. There is no relationship between good EQ and bad IQ, like they have to be inversely proportional or they are directly proportional, nothing like that. Now let me give you an example. We all know about IITs that are there in India. So we know that all the creams of entire country, all the youth, like who are the cream and they are having very good IQ, are the people who get admission in IITs, because they have their entrance examination and it is very difficult, and those of who can crack the examination can only get into the IITs. So there is no doubt that they have a very good IQ level. So whenever you go to an IIT, you can't say that this person is having very good IQ level and the other student of IIT is having very bad IQ level. You can't say, because the difference in their IQ level is very less, because they are more or less of the same IQ level and it is very high for them. But what difference they have is their EQ level, because when they give their entrance examination, it is fully based on their IQ and not on their EQ. So if you see that a person is very successful although he is coming from an IIT, and a person is not very successful but the same person is also coming from an IIT, then it is majorly because of their EQ difference. The person who is successful is having a very good EQ level, and that is the reason the person is getting success in life. Let me give you another example. In today's world, we can see a lot of very good, brilliant students or businessmen, successful multimillionaire businessmen, and many good, famous, successful people are committing suicide. You can't say that they don't have very good IQ. They do have very good IQ. That is the reason the student is very brilliant. But what they lag behind is EQ. They cannot manage their emotions, and that is the reason they take up this drastic step. So having a good EQ is very important in today's world to cope up with all the pressure and all the confusions that we are in. Now what is EQ? I am repeating this word EQ, but what is EQ? EQ is nothing but it enables an individual to confront with imaginary, with thoughts, with patience and with all kind of emotions. It confronts any problem. Either the problem can be with oneself or with the surrounding people. That is what EQ is. To have 5 ways how you can develop your EQ. First of all, it is self-awareness, then self-motivation, then empathy, then like emotion management, and then building relationship with people. First, let me come to self-awareness. So what is self-awareness? Self-awareness is nothing but knowing yourself the best. You should know what is your strength, your weakness, what you need to develop, what you have already developed, what are the things you need to work upon, and everything. You should know about yourself, you should be aware about everything that you are into, because the more self-aware you are, the more less you will have confusions in life, because you know what you want. That is the meaning of self-awareness. Now the next one is empathy. So what is empathy? Let me give you an example. Your best friend, he or she maybe had a breakup. Now the person, your friend, comes to you and says that he or she had a breakup. So if you say that, okay, I told you about this person, that this person is not good for you, you did not listen to me, I warned you, but still you did not listen to me, so now whatever you are going through, you should go it alone because I am not there. I told you previously, you did not listen to me. That is something which is not even sympathy, not even empathy. Next, you hear about your friend's breakup, you say that, okay, I can understand your feeling, I am very sorry about whatever you are going through, and it is very bad, the person shouldn't have done like this to you, you are crying and I am feeling sad about it. So that is sympathy. What is empathy? Empathy is when you can feel the pain what your friend is going through. That is empathy. So for example, your friend had a breakup, he comes back and then you say that, okay, forget about everything, I can understand that you are having a very bad emotional state, but let's go out, let's go for a long drive, or let's go to a cafe and we'll discuss, we'll talk, and we'll sort it out together, because you are understanding the pain that your friend is going through. That is empathy. To understand and feel the pain what other is going through is empathy. So self-awareness is done, empathy is done. Now self-motivation. How fast you can motivate yourself. There are n number of reasons for which you might become demotivated, but how fast you can actually motivate yourself and you can stand up and say, no, whatever have happened in the past, I will again stand up and do my job right. So this is what is motivation. You don't need anyone else to motivate you, you yourself can motivate yourself and go ahead in life. That is what self-motivation, and how fast you can do it. Self-motivation is done. Next is relationship building. So I believe all the marketing people will understand it better, how important it is to build relationship with different people and how skillful and tactic uses you have to do to have a good relationship with different people, because it will happen that with a little negligence, relationship can ruin. So that is the reason you have to be very careful with relationship and you have to be very diplomatic. It's a skill after all, and you have to be diplomatic ki, okay, I won't say like this to the person. I know if I say like this, the person might feel bad. I will say in some other manner so that the person also doesn't feel bad and my work is also done. So you have to be very diplomatic. This is what relationship building is all about. Then the last one is about managing emotions. There is a situation which can be dealt in two ways. You show your anger, you worsen the situation, or you stay calm, patient and try to improve the situation. Once you start showing your anger, things will get worsened, it will go out of your hand. So how well you can manage your emotion, you can control your emotion so that it doesn't go out of your hand is what managing emotion is all about. So I told you about the 5 tips and 5 ways how you can build your empathy and how you can work on it. So that is what I just wanted to discuss in this video of mine, how you can work on your emotional quotient, because in today's world it is very important and corporates do look for people who are emotionally stable, who can handle pressure, and that is the reason I wanted to address this topic of emotional quotient, because this is not a very new concept, but then people are neglecting it and people are thinking that it is much more important to have IQ rather than EQ. But yes, I do admit IQ is very important. EQ, if not important than IQ, but at least they are in the same level. You have to have good amount of EQ and good amount of IQ to be successful in life. So yes, that's it, and I hope you like my video, and if you like my video, don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and share with anyone whom you think needs to hear this and to motivate the person so that the person can go back in life. So yes, this is Rishika signing off until we meet again.